Harris urges supporters to accept results after Trump's election win. After Donald Trump's election win, Kamala Harris is calling on her supporters to accept the results and focus on unity. Join us as we explore her message and what it means for the future of her movement and the nation. Vice President Kamala Harris urged supporters to accept the 2024 presidential election results and committed to a peaceful transfer of power following Donald Trump's win. In a concession speech Wednesday, Harris also promised to keep up the fight that fueled this campaign. Trump's win. The president-elect will return for a second term in a historic comeback after losing in 2020, attempting to overturn the results and facing a criminal conviction. In a speech, Trump vowed to heal the nation, fix the border, and deliver a strong economy. He also celebrated the GOP taking the Senate, while the House is still up for grabs. Upcoming transition. Trump is ready to move on his agenda and could announce staff picks within days, sources say, as his allies are already jockeying for high-powered spots in his administration. As Trump prepares his next steps, CNN also reported that the special counsel is in talks with the DOJ about ending the federal cases against him. Harris ally questions over-reliance on ground game in tight race. One big question facing Kamala Harris' campaign now is whether they put too much stock in the value of their ground game to overcome her disadvantages in a climate sour on the incumbent party. One source close to the campaign said that in a recent presentation, the Harris campaign emphasized the power of their ground game to give them an edge in each of the battleground states where she was locked in a tight contest with Trump. The impact of the ground game may have been exponentially exaggerated in this political climate, the source said. A particular reason for alarm is the degree to which in several competitive Senate races, Harris performed worse than the Democratic Senate candidate in Michigan and Wisconsin, suggesting that it was not just the broader political climate dragging her down. Democratic soul-searching over the Harris loss has given way to finger-pointing. The soul-searching inside the Democratic Party in the wake of Kamala Harris' defeat has given way to finger-pointing, with many allies and advisors placing a share of the blame on President Joe Biden, his insistence to seek a second term, and his reluctance to leave the race. Harris simply could not separate herself from the Biden administration on the economy, immigration, and an overwhelming appetite for change. In the words of one aide, other advisors said too much reliance was placed on the messaging surrounding abortion rights and an intense focus on celebrities in the final weeks of the campaign. Trump has won the election. Here's what happens next ahead of Inauguration Day. American voters have spoken, and they decided to rehire Donald Trump as President of the United States. But he won't take office until January 20, 2025, and there are multiple things that will happen between now and then. Trump is ready to move on his agenda and could announce staff picks within days, sources say. President-elect Donald Trump has prepared a raft of executive orders, policy papers, and regulation reversals to go on day one of taking office, sources told CNN, describing him as focused on what he'll do immediately after taking the oath of office. On Wednesday night, Palm Beach, Florida, was teeming with potential members of a second Trump administration who are vying to position themselves for a job. Many of the hopefuls were at his victory parties on Tuesday night and have delayed their flights or adjusted their travel schedules to remain in the area. Trump could announce his decision on some key positions within days, the sources said. Trump will defeat Harris in a historic political comeback. Former President Donald Trump will defeat Vice President Kamala Harris in a historic political comeback, recapturing the White House following an election loss in 2020. Trump will return to the nation's highest office 4 years after inciting a violent insurrection at the U.S. Capitol as part of an effort to hold on to power as he refused to accept the results of the 2020 election, which he lost to President Joe Biden. Trump wins Wisconsin. Former President Donald Trump will win the key battleground state of Wisconsin, CNN projects. There are 10 electoral votes at stake in Wisconsin. It takes at least 270 electoral votes to win the 2024 presidential election. Thank you for watching. If you found this update insightful, Please like and subscribe for more political news and analysis. Stay tuned as we cover the next steps and what's ahead for Harris and her supporters.